for the quadrilla?
Well, as the name suggests, Sure Thing was a sure thing in the opening leg of the quaddie. David Smith and Kira Yule, really exciting galloper, Michael. It's great to see back in that great winning form and potentially on track for a Hannans.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's won 4 of his 6 starts, or 4 of his 7 now in WA since crossing from the east. He went bang, bang, bang at Esperance. I thought his run at Ascot was sensational at the tail end of his last preparation. Only a short freshen up between preps, but his 2 runs this time in at Kalgoorlie, outstanding. It's a bit of an awkward timing because the Hannans, of course, is late September. So what are we now? We're sort of in the second half of May. So whether he does go to another couple of starts, hopefully get his rating up, because he would need to get his rating up in order to qualify for a race like that. But I dare say he's the sort of horse you could put in the paddock for a little bit, freshen up, come back for a Campbell Cup and a Hannans Handicap Assault.
And as Kira suggested as well, she's chasing her first Hannans Handicap. She's travelled, as we all know, across the state, near and far, and ridden plenty of winners and hasn't ticked that off. So that would be fantastic for her career. She's ridden plenty of winners and she's riding in good form, and I know she's about to light up even more so. The Northwest has kicked off and it's really exciting to see where she will progress to in the coming months.
She does a lot of kilometres, doesn't she, Kira Yule? She rides winners wherever she goes. She's one of those jockeys that doesn't matter what sort of level she's riding at, she seems to ride a winner or two. She's going well. She does a lot of work, hard work behind the scenes as well as breaking in horses. So Monday to Friday, she does a stack of work, let alone the race riding and the travelling she does outside of that as well. But I do think that she and David Smith have a really nice horse on their hands with Sure Thing.
She was always a big role model to me growing up, the first female jockey to win a Perth Cup. I'll forever remember that moment. I was sitting up in Coral Bay cheering her home. It was fantastic indeed. But runners have now entered the yard ahead of race number 5, the NLC Engineering Handicap, the Class 2 over the 1200 metres here. So we'll preview the one in science degree. Brett Jury in a really nice pickup ride now for Natika Riordan.
Certainly is. I have this horse on top. I think should be hard to beat. Third up this preparation, one first up in this grade, over 1100 metres with 59.5 kilos. Carries 57 kilos now after the claim of Natika Riordan, so drops 2.5 kilos for winning in the same grade 2 starts ago. Brilliant placement when you consider that. The last start effort got crossed through the early stages, then just got too keen in the run. Knocked up late, understandably, but this horse I think needs to be on speed. The placement here is outstanding. 58 plus, back to a Class 2. He's raced in high grade 3 of his last 4 starts. His only start out of that high grade was in this when he won. So I think he ticks a lot of boxes here. He's clearly the horse to beat.
I know I'm not on mounting yard tipping duties today, but looks very, very good here from the yard. You can see just that coat on camera right now as the sun shines on him. The 2 is Dublin Red for Peter Fernie and Lucy Fiore.
I think this mare's ready to go well. She's 4th up into the campaign. First up, she ran 2nd in a 58 plus, beaten less than a length and a half. This, of course, is only a Class 2. Second up, she ran 4th in a 58 plus. Then last start, she dropped back to this grade. She was only beaten a length and running 3rd. But a couple of big ticks here. The pads come off and Lucy Fiore goes on. She maps to get the run of the race. She's finishing the money at 9 of her 13 starts here at the Kalgoorlie track. I think she gets a lovely run leaders back and she should be in the finish.
The next 3 horses are all stablemates with Dublin Red too. Pete Fernie saddles up 4 horses here in the 5th event. The 3 is Blitzen Babe, Pete Fernie and Zephyr Johnson Porter.
Hard to know which Blitzen Babe we're going to get from start to start. She has mixed her form this preparation. First up, she ran last at Ascot. Second up, she led and ran a really nice race, went 2nd to Natural Gem. Last start, she took a sit but then raced wide from the 700 and she was disappointing. She got beaten a long way, but her last few starts have all been in higher grade. She's now back into a Class 2. Big tick. She gets Zephyr Johnson Porter, so she gets 1.5 kilos. That's a tick there, and she's drawn a gate. I think she'll improve, but I've left her out of my 4.
The 4 is That's the Way I Like It, Braden Garth and Peter Fernie hoping for a race double today.
Braden Garth is also looking for a double. He's riding in superb form, and I think this filly is the danger to our favourite in science degree. She's 3rd up this preparation. I tipped her last start at here at Kalgoorlie, where she finished off brilliantly. She ran the fastest closing sectionals of the meeting. The fastest closing sectionals of the race, but the fastest last furlong of the meeting to rip late ground off the winner Flober. She only missed by a head on that occasion. Both her runs this time in, where she's hit the line brilliantly, have been over 1100 metres. She now gets an extra 100, which I think is ideal for her. She has upside. She's a lightly raced 3-year-old. She looks the danger.
The 5 is Just Sublime, having third race start today. Peter Fernie, Ava Caterino.
She looks a nice filly. The sectionals out of her races and the ratings haven't been overly strong, but she can only do what she's done, and that's run second on debut and then win second up. She's only a 3-year-old, so she's very, very lightly raced, start number 3 today, and she carries only 53.5 kilos after the claim of Ava Caterino. Certainly has to be respected.
The 6 is Alanda Star, Trevor Tusker and Keshaw Duran.
Second up from a freshen up here, back to trial since her last start, last preparation, but she raced over up to 2,000 metres last prep. She's now second up, back to 1,200 metres from the 1,400. Couple of queries there for mine. She's also drawn barrier 9 out of the 10-horse field. I thought this looked a really difficult setup today.
The 7 is Loopy's Bay, the 5th galloper for Pete Fernie, and Chanel Cooper rides.
Ran last first up, jumped a little bit awkwardly, settled in a nice enough spot, but gave ground late to be beaten 8 lengths. That was first up off a 10-month break, so you'd think she'd improve off of it, but she typically takes a couple of runs. She's never won first up or second up. She's drawn awkwardly here. She might be better suited over a touch further as well. I'm leaving her out as well.
The 8, having third start this preparation and still fairly new to the WA racing scene, is Margot's Bullseye, Gary Bowen and Kira Yule.
I think this mare should run a really nice race today. She's a Class 1 from 15 starts, so she has found it difficult to win a race throughout her career, but I think both of the first 2 runs have been really solid for a race like this. First up, she sat behind the speed. She was less than 3 lengths off Dreambrook. Last time out, same track distance grade. She copped a bump early, but she was able to muster to find the front. She tired late to run 4th, but now she gets Kira Yule's aboard. She draws a nice gate. Troublemaker form, I think, is pretty solid, despite disappointing last start yesterday, but did pull up with a soundness issue after that. And having drawn inside of Science Degree, I think should lob in a good spot. If this mare doesn't lead, I think she can either be outside leader or tuck in behind them. I think at double figures, she's worth including in your exotic plays.
The 9 is Fiendish, Nev Newton, and we see Royce Newton's name in the ownership here. Our caller today and throughout the Kalgoorlie season, Alex Hearn rides.
Yeah, I think the 2 runs back have been pretty solid as well. Hasn't been far away. 2 lengths and just under 4 lengths respectively. Gets back in the run. It's always going to be difficult, and he is a 7-year-old that's only won twice from 36 starts, and he's closing in on 1,000 days since his last victory, so he needs a race run to suit. Not in my 4th today, but he is the sort of horse that should improve into his preparation.
And rounding out the 10-horse field here in the second leg of the quaddie is Hush Now, Paul Tapper, Chris Nichol.
No luck last start, was caught covering ground throughout the middle and late stages, but prior to that ran back-to-back placings, and I think back up to 1,200 metres today from the 1,100 is suitable. She's only a Class 1 mare from 39 starts though, and she is a 7-year-old, so that's the concern, but I think she can improve today, back up to 1,200 with a more economical run in transit.
Well, in the last 2 events here, Michael, they've been very short price favourites, but the favourite here in Science Degree is now back out to $3.20, which is quite a nice price, and I believe is your on topper, $3.40 into $2.60 at one stage, but now drifting back out and is at $3.20. That's the way I like it, is on the second line of betting. $3.60 into $3.20, now at $3.50. Dublin Red at $4.40, and Just Sublime at $11, and double figures the rest. How are we seeing things play out here in the NLC Engineering Handicap?
There's good speed engaged. Science Degree, Margot's Bullseye, Alanda Star. I think they should all go forward, but I think Science Degree gets a really nice placement here, which is A, from Brett Jury, but also a good claim and well weighted after the claim here as well. I think he should be hard to beat. 1, 4, 2 and 8 is the way I numbered them. I thought Science Degree back into a Class 2 was really suitable. He won a Class 2 first up this preparation. He's racing higher grade. His other 3 starts from his past 4, and back into this class, drawing wider is probably more suitable as well, because he got crossed last start and he just was a shot duck from there. But today, if he can roll forward from the outside barrier, I think he's the horse to beat. I've got him on top from 4. That's the way I like it. She's ready to win now, this filly. She's been really strong late in both her races. She's run all the fastest closing sectionals. An extra 100 metres here is a big tick for her. 2 Dublin Red, I think, will be the improver though. She's finishing the money at 9 of her 13 career starts. Pads off, Lucy on. 2 Class 2s at big tick. And Margot's Bullseye, I think, is the value. 1, 4, 2 and 8.
1, 4, 2 and 8 here for Michael in race number 5 at the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club. It's been a fantastic day of racing so far. Still 3 races to be run and won here. Science Degree on top now at $3.10 on the Tab Touch market. Pete Fernie saddles up 5 of the 10 runners, so half the field here in the 5th event on the day. However, Michael's going against our Dominant leading trainer in Pete Fernie, and sticks with Brett Jury and Natika Riordan with Science Degree, as we hand you upstairs now to Royce to call us home.
Likewise with Margot's Bullseye, Just Sublime out of line. We'll don the black cap to differentiate it from That's the Way I Like It. So there's Just Sublime going into line. Still a handful to come forward. Time to place an investment if you wish to do so. Margot's Bullseye about to come forward. Gets the services of Kira Yule today. Comes off a last start, fourth behind the informed treble maker. It's probably one of the stronger form lines through these sort of class 2 races. Now Science Degree to come forward. Natika Riordan in the saddle after Rocky Chung has injured himself. Natika, the replacement rider, with a 4 kilo claim, $3.20. Your favourite too. Allowed to start to come forward, which will just leave Fiendish, the last one, to link along, and will be set for the NLC Engineering Handicap. Good little race this one, plenty of handy types engaged. So Fiendish goes forward. Stand by, we're set. 1200 ahead of them. Gates fly back, they're off, racing. Just Sublime with no early speed. Likewise, Fiendish going back. Now with early speed, it was Loopy's Baby finding the front first. So Loopy's Baby now being joined by Science Degree and those Tangerine Silks to the outside. They were followed a further 2.5 then to Allowed Star. Then we had Margot's Bullseye getting a nice run down on the inside, Dublin Red. A further 2 then to That's the Way I Like It. Just worse than midfield, the outside to Hush Now. Then we had Blitzen Babe third last, second last Fiendish the outside of Just Sublime. So 8 lengths covers the field as they leave the 600 metres behind them, and it's Science Degree with the 4 kilo claim. Off and gone, opens up 3 lengths now on Loopy's Baby. A similar margin then we had Dublin Red third, followed by Allowed Star, who's starting to feel the pinch. The inside then to Hush Now, followed by Margot's Bullseye, who's had limited luck, has been a little bit wide. They were followed next of all by Fiendish, who starts to run on down the outside, but it's Science Degree in front. 2.5 lengths the good. Dublin Red running a race today. Then we had Loopy's Baby, the fence. The rest were headed by Hush Now. Inside the final 100, here's Dublin Red for Fiore. She's going to make it a treble, and Dublin Red goes on and wins by a 1/2 length. Science Degree second, third in Just Sublime. They were followed in by Hush Now. Then we had That's the Way I Like It with Fiendish. Loopy's Baby knocked up, followed in by Margot's Bullseye. Further back then to Blitzen Babe, and last in was a Allowed Star. Well, Dublin Red for the family. Lucy gets the job done. And this War Chant mare with the services of Lucy today, and that is now 3 for Lucy. Shillelagh, Can't Up Queen, and now Dublin Red at a bit of value too, has taken out race number 5 at $5.20 and $1.70, and really let down in good style today. Dublin Red by War Chant from Razor Smile, and Lucy Fiore for Pete Fernie, owned by Justin Warwick, V. Gallardi, Mrs. P. Gallardi, C. Gallardi, Mrs. T. Gallardi, also Miss L. Durant, U. Gope, also G. Bamford, M. Arnold, Al Chapman, Miss C. G. O'Hagan, and also Miss S. Gallardi. Number 2 is your winner. Dublin Red brings up win number 3 at start 20 today. Trained by Peter Fernie locally. Number 1 is second, Science Degree for Brett Jury and Natika Riordan by All Too Hard from Coco XL. Owned by Mrs. P. Riley, J. Riley, S. Riley, M. Riley, D. Trow, E. Trow, A. Trow, E. Trow. Also H. Donald, S. Fleming, and Brian Pascoe, one of our life members in the ownership there. Science Degree getting second. Third in was Just Sublime for Pete Fernie and Ava Caterino by Justify from Sublime Image, owned by Andrew Ingalls. Fourth in was the 10, that's Hush Now, Paul Tapper, Chris Nickel. That's race 5, 2-1-5-10 interim after the running of the 5th, and 3/4 by a half. Race 6 is next. We've got the Rotary Club of Boulder, Peter Palmer Memorial Handicap. Over the 1600, the scratching is number 9, Prize Jewel coming out. Ava Caterino will ride Mountain Ash in the next. 2-1-5-10, let's head down to the yard.
Thanks, Royce. I've got Pete Fernie here. He's got a double on today's program. Really nice result here, Dublin Red. Lucy's obviously knows this horse quite well, going around in her dad's colours. How were things behind the scenes leading up to today?
Yeah, really good. We had a chance to get the pads off her. She's had them on since she came, so we got them off, and Lucy makes a big difference on her, and Justin gives me a lot of support, sends me a lot of horses during the year, and they always seem to be nice horses. He's got a great eye, and they're good to train, and Lucy and that do a good job jogging them up. So she's a nice little horse. She doesn't like a lot of work. She's not a big, gross mare, but she just likes racing in Cal.
It's always tough when you've got half the field, should I say, you're saddling up, going around in this race. How did we see Dublin Red fare against the rest?
Yeah, well, she's always a chance because she's had 13 runs here and finished in the money on 9 of them, so she's always a good chance. And with the pads off, I thought she was a fair chance of winning today.
Now, we touched on feuding earlier, but how's Rywood going into the next? Obviously, $2.05 favourite at the current.
Yeah, she's a nice horse. As long as she doesn't get too far back, the track's not racing great to suit horses coming from behind today, so hopefully she can be a little bit closer.
Well, hopefully we're chatting to you again after the next. Congratulations here.
Thank you.
There's Pete Fernie, here's Lucy Fiore.
Lucy, that'll keep Dad happy.
Yeah, it's nice to get one for Dad.
Talk us through the run you had, because the leader and the favourite gave a really good kick, but you were able to mow him down.
Yeah, the speed was really on, and I thought she's always better if she can be back, but I guess sometimes that gets her beat because she's a little bit far off them, but she's only got a short turn of foot. So when they were going fast early and she was travelling quite nice, and I thought, oh, this will work out perfect, and she mowed him down really nice.
You know this horse well, pre-training. How is she behind the scenes?
There's not a lot of her. She's really lovely to have around, and she tries, but she's doing her best.
Done 3 winners today. Well done.
Thank you.
There's Lucy Fiore, as mentioned, 3 winners on today's program. Michael's very happy as well, no doubt there. Dublin and Red gets the job done for Pete Fernie. Lucy Fiore, science degree in for second for Brett Drury and Natika Riordan. Just Sublime third, and Hush Now for fourth in the NLC Engineering Handicap over the 1200 metres. Only 2 legs of the quaddie remain here, so don't go too far away. We'll be back very soon for race number 6.
Stand by, we're set. 1200 ahead of them. Gates fly